They came for him at dawn, before the sun rose, before the city woke, before the cup of tea he poured even had time to cool. 6 officers marched through the entrance of Daniel Cole's small apartment, 2 in uniform, 4 in plain clothes, all carrying the same cold expression of men who believed they already had their criminal. "You're under arrest," the lead officer said. Daniel stood frozen, the steam from his tea drifting between them. "For what?" he whispered. "For the kidnapping and aggravated assault of a minor." Everything inside him collapsed. His heartbeat slammed against his chest. His hands trembled. His world, quiet, predictable, ordinary, shattered in an instant. They didn't explain. They didn't allow him to process. They pinned him down, cuffed his wrists, and dragged him past shocked neighbors who rushed out with phones ready, capturing the moment as if it were entertainment. Within minutes, social media had his face plastered everywhere with captions like, "Local man arrested for kidnapping girl." And just like that, a lie became reality. Daniel was the last man you'd suspect of anything criminal. 31 years old, soft-spoken, a computer repair technician who ran a tiny shop on Riverbank Street. He lived a quiet life, opened his shop at the same hour every morning, cleaned the same dusty counter, repaired phones and laptops for whoever walked in. He barely said more than he needed to, but being quiet made him the perfect target, the type of man who wouldn't fight back loudly enough for anyone to care. When they threw him into the back of the police truck, he still didn't know who the minor was. He didn't know the accusation. He didn't know that his entire future was being destroyed by a frightened 12-year-old girl named Lily, a girl he had never met. According to the report her mother filed, Lily had gone missing for nearly 3 hours the day before. When she returned, shaking and in tears, she told her mother that a man in a dark shirt grabbed her arm and tried to drag her behind a building. No assault occurred, no injury, no further contact, just fear and a description. Her mother asked her if she recognized the man. Lily's eyes drifted toward Riverbank Street, toward the shop she always passed on her way home. She remembered a face she'd seen there many times. Quiet, familiar, ordinary. She hesitated and pointed at Daniel's shop. That was all it took. Within minutes, police concluded the case. They didn't check CCTV. They didn't question neighbors. They didn't ask witnesses. They didn't compare timelines. The trembling voice of a frightened child was enough. In the interrogation room, Daniel sat shivering under a flickering fluorescent light, the air cold enough to numb his fingers. For 8 hours they questioned him, pushing the same accusations again and again. "Where were you yesterday afternoon? Do you know why this girl pointed at you? What were you doing near the alley? Do you frequent inappropriate websites? Do you have a history with children?" Each accusation cut deeper than the last. "I was in my shop," he repeated. "I didn't leave except to buy food. I don't know this girl. I didn't do anything." But his words meant nothing. They had already decided he was guilty. In their minds, a quiet man with no connections fit the profile perfectly. Outside the station, the story spread like wildfire. A local blog posted, "Computer repairman arrested for attempted child kidnapping." Comments piled in, calling him a monster, a predator, a danger to the community. His shop was vandalized, child predator spray painted across the metal shutter. Someone threw a rock through the window. His sister received threats. His landlord terminated his rental contract. His church group removed him from their online platform. Even his closest friend hesitated to defend him, whispering privately, "I hope it's not true. But what if it is?" Fear turns neighbors into enemies. Fear creates devils where none exist. And yet, Lily hadn't lied out of malice. She wasn't trying to harm anyone. She truly believed someone had grabbed her, but she didn't understand what had actually happened. The truth was far simpler, far sadder, and far more devastating. The previous afternoon, Lily had been walking home alone, earbuds in, music loud enough to drown out the world. Behind her, 2 older boys from her school, troublemakers with a reputation, were shoving each other around, laughing too loudly, playing too roughly. One boy pushed the other harder than intended. The second boy stumbled forward and crashed directly into Lily. Startled and terrified, she screamed and ran. The boys, embarrassed and panicked, ran in the opposite direction. Startled and terrified, she screamed and ran. The boys, embarrassed and panicked, ran in the opposite direction. When Lily reached home, crying and shaking, her young brain filled in the blanks. She remembered the bump, the panic, the shove, but she didn't remember the face of the boy who hit her. She remembered only a man she'd often seen near that alley, Daniel. Her mind mixed familiarity with recognition, creating a false memory, an honest mistake with catastrophic consequences. Meanwhile, Daniel spent his first night in jail curled in a corner of a cramped cell shared with 11 other men. When one inmate asked, "What are you in for?" Daniel whispered, "They say I tried to kidnap a girl." The cell fell silent. Crimes involving children, even if false, carry deadly consequences behind bars. He didn't sleep. He prayed. He trembled. He wondered if his life was over. Outside, the evidence that could free him, 6 CCTV cameras from buildings around the alley, sat untouched, collecting dust. Footage that showed Lily walking, the boys behind her, the accidental shove, the panic, and Daniel nowhere in sight. Footage that could have cleared him in minutes. But the officers didn't bother checking. They believed the accusation. They believed the fear. They believed the convenience of a familiar face. Only one person refused to accept it: Grace, Daniel's younger sister. She stormed into the police station day after day, demanding the officers review the street cameras. They brushed her off repeatedly until one officer, Malik, finally listened. He went to Daniel's shop, accessed the CCTV recorder, and opened the footage from the previous afternoon. And there it was, Lily walking, 2 boys behind her, one shoving the other. The stumble, the collision, her scream, their escape, and Daniel inside his shop the entire time, captured on his indoor cameras, repairing a laptop at the exact moment of the incident. Malik's throat tightened. He knew instantly. An innocent man had been arrested. A man whose life was destroyed because everyone was too quick to believe the worst. When he returned to the station and showed the footage to the lead investigator, the man scowled. Instead of relief, he felt annoyance. "This complicates things," he muttered. Malik snapped. "It doesn't complicate anything. It proves we arrested the wrong man." Dropping the case meant admitting failure, admitting negligence, admitting that they allowed fear and pressure to guide their actions instead of procedure. But the footage was undeniable. Within hours, Daniel was released. But there was no celebration. As he walked outside, people stared at him like he was still guilty, like he'd gotten away with something. Cameras pointed at him again, this time with captions like, "Kidnapped suspect released on technicality." Technicality, as if the truth was a trivial detail. His shop remained vandalized. His landlord refused to let him move back. Strangers whispered behind his back. Children crossed the street when he walked by. He was free on paper, but imprisoned by public opinion. Meanwhile, Lily discovered the truth and broke down in tears. She had never intended harm. She insisted on apologizing publicly, even when her mother told her to stay quiet. "Everyone needs to know I was wrong," she said. Her statement reached local media and finally began shifting the narrative. Slowly, painfully, the community realized the truth. A frightened child had made a mistake, and the adults had turned that mistake into a nightmare. Daniel's lawyer filed complaints against the officers, the police department, the bloggers who spread misinformation, the vandals, and the landlord who illegally evicted him. It wasn't revenge. It was survival. It was accountability. The case ignited national discussion. Should police arrest based solely on a child's identification? Why didn't they check cameras first? How many innocent people are in prison because fear replaces facts? Why does social media act as judge and jury before evidence appears? Daniel never asked to be a symbol of injustice, but the truth forced him into the spotlight. Even after being vindicated, he struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, distrust, and a constant fear of being accused again. The emotional scars remained long after the case ended. But with Grace's support and the few friends who stayed loyal, he slowly rebuilt his life. Months later, the official report confirmed everything. No kidnapping attempt, no adult involvement, no assault, no abduction. Lily had mistaken a teenager's accidental shove for a kidnapping attempt. Daniel was innocent. The arrest was unjustified. Social media amplified the hysteria. In an interview, Daniel said softly, "I forgive the child. She was scared. But I want the police to understand something. A man's life is not a toy. Investigate before you arrest. Verify before you assume. Look at evidence before you ruin someone's future." Then he added, "If Officer Malik hadn't checked that CCTV, I might still be in prison today." This isn't just Daniel's story. It's a reminder of how quickly a false accusation can destroy a life, how fear distorts truth, how biases shape decisions, how social media punishes before evidence appears, and how easily an innocent man can become a villain in the eyes of the world simply for existing in the wrong place at the wrong time. But one silent camera saved him, a camera no one thought to check until it was almost too late. Not every monster is real, not every accusation is true, and not every innocent person is fortunate enough to have a lens watching over them when the world decides to point a finger.